Hey guys. Oh, I sound loud. I'm gonna try to turn this off for a little bit. If I get hot, I'll turn it back on. Whoa, guys, huge freaking news. He's pleading, taking a plea deal. So I wonder what all these people that think he's innocent, you know what they're gonna say? Well, he's only doing it because he doesn't want the death penalty. Yeah, but there's a reason why he thinks that he's gonna be found convicted and found guilty because he knows he did it. He knows there's too much evidence that's gonna point to him. I'm sorry, if he was innocent, he would not take a deal for murder. So I hope it wakes up some of these people. I really do. But I know they'll still pretend that he's innocent. I don't know why that drives me nuts with this one because I just think it's so disrespectful to the victims. I know everybody could have their opinion, but I feel like it's so obvious that it's him. You know what I'm saying? And it's just it kills. I guarantee it's killing a family to have like thousands of people act like that, almost treating them like they're doing something wrong. That's what I hate. It's like they're treating them because they think that they got the right person. But they'll have some kind of excuse, but that'd be awesome if they just finally admit, like, okay, yeah, nobody's gonna plead guilty to freaking 4 counts of murder if you didn't do it. I am sorry. Um, well, he's proven guilty. He's taking a plea deal. So that's not gonna count for you because he's pleading guilty? Oh, a plea deal. Okay. Okay. I see what you said. I didn't read the next part of yours. Yeah. Now tell me, there's absolutely no way that somebody would plead guilty to 4 counts of murder if they were innocent. I am sorry. Just for the principle alone, if they were innocent, they would feel like I'm fighting it because I didn't do it. And most people that are innocent, I mean, they think for sure they are going to be able to beat it because they're innocent. And principle alone, they're not going to say they murdered 4 people if they didn't. I'm sorry. I feel so strongly about that. And I've been holding back on like how much I think he's guilty because of just I don't know because he hasn't went to trial yet, but that he oh I'm so glad I'm so glad. Um uh yes. Yeah, I misread yours. Thank you. Yes, I'm just okay. So let's oh, hold on. Let me see something. Okay, cool. Thanks, Cake. I'm live now. Oh, wait, she can't hear me. Like she could hear me through the phone. Nope. Uh, yeah, but I think why people still think Watts is innocent? See, with Watts, I think they all think he's guilty, but they think that NK is guilty too. I haven't ran into many people that actually thinks he wasn't involved. I guess I could think of one person, one creator that I'm not gonna name her, but I guess I could think of one person that tried to like get him a lawyer and well, 2 people. 2 people actually. One disappeared and one is actually on this case thinking this guy's innocent. Same person that thought it was trying to get Chris Watts off saying Chris was innocent. She's really a strong advocate for Bryan Kohberger being innocent. But that member, you guys, she's the same one that freaking went to Colorado and tried to get him a lawyer and tried to say he was innocent until she probably realized she sounded like an idiot. Anyway, sorry. Don't have a very good relationship with that woman. Anyway, I know it sucks. It does suck we're not gonna get the trial. But we'll probably be able to go through the files. That is one thing. And I wonder, a part of me, when I first heard that, a part of me was thinking this. I don't know why I was thinking this. He's probably aware because his lawyer is aware of the support that he has. He does because of these creators. Um, I feel like they get one person like Karen Reed is innocent, yay. Then they just want to like stand behind all these murderers and pretend if the state messes up a little bit that means that they're innocent. It's like no, we're human. People screw up things. But anyway, my first thought was okay. he doesn't want that stuff to come out. He doesn't want all the evidence to come out because then he could still have his little support group of people. You know what I'm saying? Like, because he knows the trial happens, everybody, I feel like once the trial happens, everybody will know he's guilty. But this will stop a lot of that from coming out, you know? So I don't know though. I mean, I don't know how strict they're going to be on releasing what files. We probably won't see as many as we would. I don't know. I guess we'll see. I don't know. I hate it, Ashley. I hate the way that it is now. It's like I don't even think these people really believe it. I think they just think it feels good to like stand behind something and like that they feel like it's doing something to save somebody because they couldn't save the victims. But little do they know the person they're trying to save is the reason why the victims are dead. You know what I'm saying? So I don't. Some people they are misconvicted and I mean, I think Karen Reed was innocent. There are certain cases, and some people do think she's guilty, and I respect that opinion. But I think if anything, it was an accident. But I don't even know if I mean, there's still too much reasonable doubt with her. But like that was one of the rare cases, I think. But you got a few big channels that are going behind everybody and thinking all these murderers are innocent. Not all of them, but they pick like a lot of the big ones, and it helps them create content. Anyway, all right. So July 3rd. I know. Wait, what do you mean? No one turned on Way though? Everybody turned on. There's a lot of people that did. Okay, so July 2nd is supposed to be the court hearing where I guess maybe he's going to take the deal or because he has to go in front of court and say guilty though. So they said July 2nd I saw somewhere. Okay, so let's see what's out there. Let me just share. Hold on. The crazy thing is like 12 hours ago or earlier, was it earlier today? Or maybe it was late last night. There was like about the four witnesses that they were the judge was subpoenaing. Oh my god, I can't even say that. To come to court. There was like videos all out on that, and then all of a sudden he takes a plea deal. So I think we should watch those, even though I know now they're not going to like at that point when the news channels were reporting on it. I know he didn't take the plea. It wasn't known that he took the deal yet, but I just still think it'd be interesting to watch those from like, it was like from some of them were like 12 hours ago. I was watching them earlier. Is it the third? Okay. It was either the second or the third. Oh, happy birthday in a couple days. Oh, yeah. That's true. That's just because they had a huge crush on him or something. So, and so we are still going to have, people that are going to think Brian's innocent. But they just need to maybe not be as loud because, I mean, just respect. You got the families that know that he freaking brutally murdered their daughters and son, like, and then to hear all these people like supporting him, that's sick. And these people aren't like Wade wives. These people are like normal people that I just think they want to try to be important or something. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't. It's one thing that almost makes me want to get out of true crime because like it's becoming so prevalent and it makes me like so angry and I hate that it makes me so mad because then like if people come in my chat that are for that, I mean, I'm open to it, but it does hit a nerve a lot of the time. So I have to like keep my cool and be like, okay, everybody's welcome. But I'm more mad at the creators that are doing it because I think they know better. I think they're just doing it for content. Yeah, right. Who's the guilty? That's the person I was actually talking about earlier. Yep. She's the one that thought Watts was innocent. Like, not just that she didn't think NK was involved. She actually thought NK was innocent, but also that Watts didn't do it. She thought that Shanann's best friend, Nicole, did it. Atkinson. Yeah, she was blaming her. That's the person everybody's watching now. Ugh, I can't. Sorry, I should keep my mouth shut, but I cannot stand that woman. Okay, so, yeah, she's horrible. But people don't know about her past. They just followed her for the Idaho case, and they don't know about all the other crap. I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut. I'm sorry. It just makes me angry. Like the Chris Watts thing, that is what like struck a nerve with me and her. It was just like, whew. And then, uh, yeah, very disrespectful. But yeah, let's just share some of these articles, and then I do want to go back like 12 hours ago of when before we all knew, and what what the whole the 4 defense witness. I don't even know much about it. I want to watch more of it with you guys. I started watching them when I actually not even that long ago when I found out he took the deal. I started watching them because I was looking up stuff and I was seeing those videos. But so yeah, Bryan Kohberger cut plea deal in Idaho college murders case. Source confirmed the prosecution had proposed dropping the death penalty. A court hearing for a change of plea will be Wednesday. Wednesday's the second, guys, right? Yeah, Wednesday's the second. That's what I thought. It's the second. I saw the second. Yep. The reason I know is because I'm going uh to my brother, so I wouldn't normally probably not. I'd have to look at my calendar. Uh but when I saw the second and Wednesday, yeah. So Wednesday's the second. Okay. A News Nation has learned a plea deal has been offered to Bryan, the man charged with the killing in November 2022, and has accepted. Sources confirm the prosecution has proposed dropping the death penalty in exchange for Kohberger pleading guilty to committing the murders and to burglary charge. You learn that Kohberger must also agree to spend the rest of his life in prison without the possibility of parole and must waive his right to appeal. That's huge. That's a huge factor right there. So if he ends up signing this, I guess we shouldn't get excited until it actually happens officially in court because he could always go back on it until he actually goes in front of court and says guilty and does the signs everything and does everything officially. He could always go back on it. So let's not get too excited here. So until Wednesday, we won't know for sure. Because I mean, he really could. So he, which I don't think he will, but I'm just saying he could. um, so no possibility of parole. Huge. It says in a statement on social media, the family of one of victims, Casey Gonzalez, said, "It's true. We are beyond furious at the state of Idaho. They have failed us." Wait, why are they mad? Am I confused? They should be happy. Oh, because they wanted the death penalty. Is that why? But wait, they can't be if I'm maybe I'm misunderstanding because they can't be mad at the state of Idaho. Bryan can do whatever he wants. That has nothing to do with the state of Idaho. I mean, I guess, oh, because they shouldn't have offered the deal. Yeah, I guess. No, what? Now I'm really confused. I thought they were gonna be so happy. I know. They definitely should. I'm sorry, life is just as bad as death. Like, he's gonna die in prison, and, like, I don't think anybody but God should determine that, just like he shouldn't have done that to the victims, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not, like, 100% against it. I mean, if it would happen, I wouldn't be, like, complaining, but, like, I don't think they should be complaining, shoot. I think this is really good news for the families. I wonder what the other families are saying. Because, I mean, they don't have to sit through it and live through it. They don't have the chance because there's still a chance that the jury could find him not guilty. I mean, there still was that chance. Then what, you know? And then I think it's better this way because then he's going around telling everybody he's innocent. That's more hurtful for him to finally admit what he did. Like, that should make them feel like that's justice. Like, he admitted it, he's taking accountability, he's taking his punishment. We know he's not going around claiming he's innocent anymore. Like, why is this bad? This is not bad, Gonzalez. This isn't bad. This is good. I hope they end up like it's probably a shock right now. They probably, you know what I'm saying? I just hope they just once they absorb it and sleep on it, maybe they'll realize, wait, this is actually a good thing. This isn't a bad thing. Man, I thought they were gonna be so happy. Um, okay, let's see what else. That's crazy. So wait, let me see if there's actually wait, Facebook. It's true. Yeah, that's where it's from. And it says no. Oh, that's that psychic. No. I think a lot of people are disappointed because they wanted the trial. They wanted to see it. I think that's the only reason some of these people that think he's guilty, I think they're probably disappointed because of that. I'm guessing. Because the plea deal is not like, oh, he gets out and he gets to say he didn't do it, or like he's admitting to all 4 murders and the burglary, and he's saying no appeal, and he's spending his life in prison. He's done. Like, why is this bad? The judge doesn't have to accept a plea. The state really should take the victim's wishes. I mean, yeah, they usually do talk to the families and see what they want, but I wonder what the other family said. Yeah, that's what I'm agree with Jamie Lynn. Wow. Yeah, he's still gonna spend. Says, but is this really the best thing that could have happened? If this would have went to trial, he would have been found guilty. Then when you guys would have had to go to court every time he appealed. Yeah, he would have appealed. I mean, it would have been this life like years long. See, I don't think it's just like Chris Watts. He got off easy. No, his life is. I guess I just don't feel like somebody has to have the death penalty because I think life is just as bad. But I mean, I guess people have different opinions. Um, yeah, I mean, maybe they won't accept it. Says Diddy though I tend to believe that death would be easier. Yeah, it could. I mean, that could be an easier thing for some people. Huh. Wow. I am surprised. Let me see. Hold on. Let me play. No, I thought they were going to be happy, guys. I didn't read all of that yet. I just was waiting to watch it with you guys. But, huh. I think they just need time to realize like this really is a good thing. All the counts of killing 4, coworkers charged with 4 counts of he will waive his right to appeal. Prosecutors anticipate the sentencing to take place in late July as long as Kohberger enters the guilty plea as expected at the change of plea hearing that's scheduled for Wednesday, according to the letter received by the family of one of the victims. What time on Wednesday? I'm gonna live stream it. It says prosecutors said in the letter to families that the state was approached last week by Kohberger's defense team asking to be presented with an offer. Prosecutors said that they then met with available family members last week, weighed the right path forward, and made a formal offer to Kohberger. So they did meet with the family members. So I bet you maybe the other ones were okay. Let's see. This resolution is our sincere attempt to seek justice for your family. Prosecutors wrote in the letter. This agreement ensures that the defendant will be convicted, will spend the rest of his life in prison, and will not be able to put you and the other families through the uncertainty of decades of post-conviction appeals. Your viewpoints weighed heavily in our decision-making process, and we hope that you may come to appreciate why we believe the resolution is in the best interest of justice. The state will also seek restitution for the victims and their families according to the agreement. The 2 roommates inside survived. Huh. I think once they sit with it for a minute, they're gonna realize this is the best. I really do. I just think it's a shock because they were all ready to go, and then they hear that. Let's see what Daily Mail says. Oh, this is the one about the so this would be before he took the news of him taking the deal about the defense witnesses. So let's read what was going to happen. It says Idaho murderers, because this probably played a role in why they decided. So Idaho murderers hearing descends into chaos as defense witnesses confess they've got no idea why they've been called. Well, a key hearing in the case against Idaho murder suspect Bryan Kohberger descended into confusion today as the accused killer's defense appeared to call the wrong witness, and others expressed bewilderment over being called at all. Wait, what date is this? From June 30th. Oh, this was from earlier today. What? Oh, because it was probably that's when they reported. Okay. 5 men connected to Kohberger's past life in Pennsylvania appeared in Monroe County Court Monday morning to determine whether or not they would be ordered to travel to Idaho for the high profile trial this August. The group of Pennsylvanians included the accused killer's former boxing coach, a man who he went to high school with, and a guard. So his boxing coach, a man he went to high school with, and a guard who worked at the local jail where he was briefly held while waiting extradition. The hearing took a bizarre turn when one of the witnesses told the court he thought they might have the wrong man. Ralph Vecchio, I think he's talking about like him being subpoenaed, like he's the wrong man, not that I think that's what he means. I have to read it. Not that Bryan Kohberger is the wrong man, that Ralph's the wrong man. Okay, so Ralph Vecchio the third, 65, owns the car business where the Kohbergers back in 2019 bought the infamous white Honda Elantra, driven by the suspected killer. The vehicle is at the center of the capital murder case as surveillance footage captured a car matching the suspect's car circling the student's home at 1122 King Road and then speeding away from the scene moments after the murders of Kaylee, Madison, Xana, and Ethan. Vecchio told the court that not only did he oppose being summoned as a witness, he questioned if the defense has called the wrong person. Back in 2019, when the Kohbergers bought the vehicle, his 88-year-old father owned the car company. His name is Ralph Vecchio. The younger Vecchio, I don't know, I'm saying it wrong, I know, also told the judge he has never met or even laid eyes on Kohberger. I feel the subpoena has no merit for me. I have never even seen him in my lifetime or talked to in my lifetime, the accused, he told the court. I've never had any personal contact with him ever. Vecchio said he had no idea why he'd been called as a witness in the case, adding, it doesn't make sense. I've never seen or met, seen from a distance, or had any contact with the accused in my life, he said. He also said Kohberger had never stepped foot inside his auto business, that it was Kohberger's mother or father who had purchased the vehicle back in 2019, and that he himself wasn't the one who made the sale. When Judge Arthur Zulick questioned if Ralph Vecchio present was the right Ralph, attorney Abigail Parnell, who was speaking on behalf of Kohberger's legal team, admitted she didn't know. Your Honor, I cannot say for certain, she said. Judge Zulick told Parnell to find out if Kohberger's defense has gotten the wrong person by July 7th, where Vecchio will appear once again. The older Vecchio is housebound, according to his son, and so wouldn't be unable to attend the trial. I think they have subpoenaed the wrong person, the judge said. As well as the confusion over his role as a witness in the case, Vecchio added that it would be hardship for him to travel to Idaho because he runs the car business. He is also not crazy about flying, he added. Or the other four men, one of the other four men, one agreed to travel to Idaho to testify ahead of the hearing. Two were ordered by the judge to appear after voicing their opposition, and the fourth is yet to be determined. All five had been called as defense witnesses in Kohberger's trial for the murder of the 4 university students. The 30-year-old native criminology PhD. Okay, so that's just going over. Okay. Around 6. Okay, wait, no, that's just going over. So this is the appearance where he waived extradition to Idaho marked the first time. Okay, unlike back then when hundreds descended the courthouse, only a handful of journalists and members of the public joined Monday's hearing. According to court documents, at least 7 people still living in the county have been issued with subpoenas to appear as witnesses in Kohberger's trial, as Kohberger's defense is delving into his upbringing and life before the murders to try to save him from the death penalty and potentially the firing squad. The 5 individuals appearing in court Monday were all asked questions, firstly, as to whether they contested that they are material necessary witnesses, and secondly, if attending the trial will cause them undue hardship. Jesse Harris, who works at a boxing gym where the suspect used to train, told the judge he opposed the subpoena to appear at Kohberger's trial. Huh. He argued that while his heart goes out to the families of the victims as well as Kohberger's family, he only knew the suspect as a young man and so does not think it's necessary witness in the case. There's Brian's dad. It says seen in the garden in 2025. But my position is I knew a 15 or 16-year-old. I don't know how my relationship with the young man is pertinent to this case. He added, I don't know the 29-year-old. I know the 15 or 16-year-old. Since Kohberger's arrest, he said he has cooperated with authorities and has already told defense experts everything he can about the character of that young man. Harris told the judge that Kohberger did not attend the gym to be a boxer or to compete, as his voice concerns that his testimony would be used to frame boxing as a violent sport. He never threw a punch at anyone, he said. Instead, Harris said that a lot of kids would come to train at his boxing gym because defense would not want to make him look violent. So I think he's getting confused because this is the defense witness. They would actually probably want to do the opposite. But anyway, they couldn't make the football team or basketball team and wanted to lose weight, build confidence. His boxing gym gave kids like that a home. A teenage Kohberger was one of the kids who came to the gym based on that. He said, adding that he came to me and worked out. Harris said he feared that his attendance as a defense witness at the murder trial would give the appearance that he was supporting Kohberger, something he strongly denied. I don't want it misconstrued that I'm there in support of the situation Bryan has got himself in. I don't want that impression that I am supporting in any way, he said. Harris also said that traveling to Idaho for the trial would cause undue hardship because his wife is sick. He runs a small construction business and he is the sole provider for his family. The judge said he was approving the subpoena, ordering Harris to testify in Kohberger's trial, but would reassess the situation if his wife's illness changed. Brandon Andriola, who went to high school with Bryan, also put up a strong fight against testifying in Kohberger's trial, asking the judge to quash the subpoena. The exact nature of his relationship to Kohberger was unclear, but he told the court it had been minimal and distant since leaving school. My relationship with Bryan has been minimal and distant since high school, he said. Our last significant interaction took place in June 2020, 2 years prior to the events in the case. Parnell and the judge discussed this argument in sidebar out of earshot of the public's gallery, so it's unclear why exactly the defense seems his testimony critical, as well as contesting his appearance as a defense witness. Andriel also said he fears losing his job if he's forced to testify due to the media attention on the case. Andriel pointed out that Kohberger's sisters lost their jobs in the immediate aftermath of their brother's arrest, and he is concerned the same fate will fall on him. The defendant's own family has experienced the exact same scenario, given the stature of how big the case is in the media, and I think it significantly risks myself as losing my job, he said. He pointed to the media's attention he has faced since he was named in the subpoena, saying he fears it will be multiple times greater if he takes the stand at the death penalty trial. While the judge said he did sympathize with him, he ordered Andriola to comply with the subpoena and appear at Kohberger's trial. Wow. Ooh. Where did I leave off at? William Searfoss, who works as a prison guard at the Monroe County Correctional Facility where Kohberger was taken in the immediate aftermath. All right, I have to turn this on. I know you guys said you can't hear it. I try, but it's too hot. I'll turn the speed. No. There we go. That should be lower. Okay. So the prison guard also appeared before the judge. Kohberger was held at the jail for 5 days from his December 30th arrest before he was extradited to Idaho. Searfoss told the judge that Kohberger's team had asked him to hand over prison records for that period. Wait, Searfoss told the judge that okay. He handed them over to Parnell in the courtroom, and he said that he believed this meant he would no longer need to attend the proceedings. The judge told Parnell to check all the records are in order ahead of the hearing on July 7th, and he will rule on Searfoss's subpoena then. The fifth witness, Anthony Sama, reached an agreement with Kohberger's defense to testify in the trial moments before the hearing was about to get underway. His connection to Kohberger is currently unclear based on Facebook profile. He appears to have attended the Monroe Career Technical Institute. Kohberger also attended this school on its youth law enforcement program, but he was kicked out of the program following complaints from a group of female students. Former high school administrator Tanya Corrales Beers has previously revealed. Corrales Beers told the Idaho Massacre podcast, a complaint was made and a teacher reported it to me and said, this is not something we can have. An investigation needed to be conducted. Other students were interviewed. Bryan was interviewed, and there comes a time when decisions have to be made, whether it's the decision the student wants or not. After being removed from the program, Kohberger transferred to the heating and ventilation and air conditioning course instead. Two other witnesses, Ann Parham, who was an advisor at Kohberger's school, and a mystery witness named Maggie Sanders, had also been summoned to appear at Monday's hearing. But last week, Parham reached an agreement to testify in the trial, canceling the need for her to appear. Sanders, meanwhile, rescheduled her hearing for July 7th. DeSales University professor Michelle Bolger, who taught the accused quadruple killer on his criminal justice master's degree, was also initially summoned before her name was removed on a later filing and replaced with Andriola. Judge Zulik revealed in court Monday that he had also received requests for other Pennsylvania residents to be called as a witness for the prosecution. It's not clear who those witnesses are or why they are being called to testify in Idaho, as Judge Stephen Hippler has sealed both defense and prosecution witness list. The prosecution has previously revealed that they plan to call some of Kohberger's family members to testify against him. How long was I on mute? I don't even remember pressing mute. Oh my Lord. Okay, so other witnesses expected to testify in the high-profile trials are the victim's surviving roommates, Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk, and the DoorDash driver who delivered food to Coronado minutes before the murders and told officers during a separate incident that she saw Bryan outside the house that night. Kohberger's trial is finally set to begin in August after he lost an 11th hour bid to delay the trial last week, in part pointing to publicity in the case and recent Dateline episode. So I wonder if it does have to do with that all coming out about her seeing Bryan, but wouldn't the defense be aware of that? Like, even if we weren't, I'm trying to think, don't they have to share everything? Because maybe that was true and they found out and like, whoa, but I would think they would have already, I don't know. Sometimes I get confused because like you'll hear that they have to show everything, but then sometimes there are things that they don't know are coming. I've seen, so I don't know. The Kohberger trial is finally set to begin August after he lost an 11th hour bid to delay the trial last week, in part pointing to publicity in the case in a recent Dateline episode. Wait, what are you guys talking about? Okay. The judge also slapped down the defense's request to present evidence pointing to 4 alternate suspects at trial, saying they had not shown a scintilla of competent evidence connecting them to the crime. Now, jury selection is scheduled to begin on August 4th. A not guilty plea was entered on Kohberger's behalf at his arraignment. The motive of the murders remains a mystery. Wouldn't that be something, though? How horrible would this be? If the family goes and they argue, like they go in for his thing Tuesday and argue and say they don't want to accept it, they want the death penalty, and the judge sides with them, like, okay, we got to do the family's wishes, and then he gets found not guilty at trial. Wouldn't that be something? They would be kicking themselves in the butt. But even if he does get found guilty, they got to live through that whole months of that, watching the trial, going through it, reliving it, and then, like I said, years worth of appeals, because the death sentence, those appeals last what, 6 to 10 years? So every time he goes and does another appeal, they have to be afraid. Like, I just think that they need to, like, I know it's a shock right now. So right now they're like, whoa, that's why I think after some time, give it a week, I think they're gonna realize that this really is the best thing, because that would be like, don't wouldn't they just want it over with? Justice is served, he pleads guilty, he's admitting to it all. Um, and no, they don't have to worry about it anymore. Like, as far as Bryan, he is in prison for the rest of his life. They don't have to worry about any chance of him ever getting out. Um, yeah, I know it's gonna take some time. Aren't you curious, Karen? Like, is it just the Gonzalez families or not? Because obviously the prosecution met with all the families, right? I wonder, I bet you not all of them were against it, because they said they talked to him, took everything into consideration. But why do I'm thinking they, maybe some of them were okay with it and some weren't. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Yeah, that was kind of interesting. Dang it. Um, okay, so now I want to play, there's a video I wanted to play that I sent myself. Hold on one second. Oh, that's the Daily Mail. I wanted to play, oh, that's the Diddy one that I wanted to play. Okay. Gosh, I just, like, I was so happy when I read it, but I know I'm not the family, so I mean, I get it. It's just a shock. I was shocked. I was like, wait, because since freaking day one, he's been saying he's innocent. Like, he's never admitted, he's been like claiming isn't, well, obviously, if he's going to trial, but like for him to like, and he's been fighting so hard. Like, his lawyers and everybody's been fighting so hard. Um, all right, hold on. Yeah, I mean, he's been fighting so hard with her, or she's been fighting so hard for him. So to just like now at this time to be like, oh, he's pleading guilty, like that was like a shock. I was seriously like, my mouth was open. Like, actually, I was working on something else and Soul texted me. Um, and I was like, you know how you see like the title before I like clicked on it. I'm like, wait, what? And I clicked on it and I'm like going downstairs and my mouth's like hanging open, like my mom's trying to talk to me. I'm just like, I'm not even hearing anything she's saying because I'm like trying to read this article. Like, what the heck? I did not think that would happen. Okay, cool. I'm gonna look. Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna look for stuff. Thank you. I'll check it out. Um, all right, hold on. I'm gonna look at a couple other places because, like I said, I didn't. As soon as I saw it, I got a thumbnail together and started to get ready for for the live, so I didn't get to get a bunch of information, but we could do it.
All right, emergency live, emergency live.
I didn't get to do like find a lot of stuff, but I'm gonna look. Let's see, plea deal. All right, hold on. I'm looking at a couple groups too, and then I'll go to. Actually, let me play that. Let me play that video I was gonna play first, and then while I'm playing that, I'll look on TMZ. All right, so wow, they're all over. So many videos. Dang it. Oh, this is what I was going to play. Now, this is before the news of him accepting the plea deal came out, but wait, who's this? Hold on.
Turning now to developing news.
Yeah, but let's watch it because all the other ones are just going to be like, accepts the plea deal, accepts the plea deal. Like, that's all we know. But this is before he did it about the witnesses. I'm going to play this real quick while I look for that TMZ, and I'll try to look for family stuff. Hold on.
Out of the state of Pennsylvania, where the judge in the college murders case is expected to make a major ruling about testimony from some key witnesses in this case. This comes as two friends who found the victims' bodies are speaking out for the very first time. Here they are on GMA earlier today.
In the documentary, you tell the story of really not feeling alarmed.
The murder of the healthcare CEO on the streets of Manhattan.
I joked around with her on the phone. You know, it's something you would never expect.
It's November, so I had shorts on, slides on. Like, I wasn't prepared to obviously stay there. I was just going over to check to see what's going on. I would say as soon as you get there, you know something's wrong.
This morning, potential witnesses appeared at a hearing to determine if there is cause for them to be compelled to travel to testify at Bryan Kohberger's upcoming trial ahead in August in Boise, Idaho. Kohberger is accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students back in November of 2022. Just last week, the judge denied the defense from bringing up an alternate suspect's defense at their trial.
Let me share this for real quick, and then we'll watch the rest of this. I found what you guys were talking about, the TMZ things. Look at this. I guess maybe none of them are happy. Check this out. Oh my God. Bryan Kohberger's family, victim's family, told prosecutors, "Don't you dare make a deal." That reminds me of my mom or somebody like, "Don't you dare." Oh, email me, Laura, email me. Will you, what you're talking about? Did you say you emailed me? Email me. Okay. The family of Xana is livid over the plea deal offered to accused murderer Bryan Kohberger, and they told prosecutors they better not dare go through with it. Kim Coronado, Xana's aunt, who was so furious she was in tears, tells TMZ. Prosecutors floated the idea of a plea deal a few days ago, and family made it clear, no way. When we spoke to Kim, oh my God, I don't know why it's doing. When we spoke to Kim, she was on the conference call with prosecutors. She says prosecutors told her the defense approached prosecutors with a plea deal, and the prosecutors went along to spare the families the pain of the trial. Kim says that's ridiculous because at least 2 of the families, hers and the Gonzalez families, wanted Kohberger to face a jury. Kim says prosecutors were especially concerned that families would have to see the gruesome crime scene photos of their loved ones, but she says, we know the graphics. They were not trying to spare us. Yeah, they were. Plus save money, taxpayer money that they're, I don't know. I think they'll realize. Kim also said that when her family got a call from prosecutors a few days ago about a deal, they were vague. Prosecutors never mentioned taking the death penalty off the table, but that's the only way, that's the only thing they had to negotiate with. There would be no other reason, no other deal to be made. That's the only thing they can negotiate with is the death penalty. And that's a huge negotiator that they could get people to, will take this off for this. Like, you know what I'm saying? And here's the thing. Even if he did get convicted, he might not even got the death penalty still. Like, there's still all these what ifs. Like, this is like for sure, you know, even if he gets found guilty, they could have said no for the death penalty. You don't know. If he has a good defense, and I mean, you just don't freaking know. What's especially puzzling, Kim says, prosecutors told her there was enough evidence to secure a guilt verdict. As we reported under the deal, Kohberger will plead guilty to 4 counts of murder. In the return, prosecutors will take the death penalty off the table. Prosecutors will recommend life in prison without the possibility of parole. A hearing is scheduled for Wednesday, and presumably that's when the prosecutors and Kohberger will ask the judge to approve the plea deal. Kim says she wants the judge to delay making a decision so families can figure out their next move. But what do they need? I don't understand what they need to figure out. They don't have to go to the trial. Yeah, I agree with Says it's done, prison for life. So much for this. I was just taking a drive. Defense. He admitted it. Life in prison may be harder than execution. He's going to jail for years either way. It takes years to get execution. I watch a lot of Snap. The saddest episodes are families being talked into deals just for the person to be released much sooner. I told my kids if they die, I won't make. Yeah, but he's not. That's the thing. It's not a deal that he's getting released sooner. It's a deal he's still getting life. You know what I'm saying? So he's not ever getting released. Plus, he might end up getting killed. I mean, prison justice. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but Bobbers, I guess it's, I know you're not here, but Bobbers, supposedly, if you're listening, it's actually more expensive for the death penalty, they say, than actually life in prison. And I'm not a liberal at all. So, and I just think God should be the one to judge who, you know what I'm saying? Like deep down, I don't think it should, like, I know people believe the eye for an eye, but I just feel like if we're punishing somebody for that, then we're doing the same thing back, saying, don't do this. This is bad. But our actions are showing otherwise. It's showing, oh, but it's okay under certain circumstances. Now, obviously, I'm saying, like, what if somebody does something really bad to somebody and that, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, look, if it's an eye for an eye, well, no. I mean, I don't know. I just, like I said, I mean, I'm not like a hugely, like, gonna be mad if somebody would get it, but like, I think life is, but I get it. The families, I mean, they should consider what the families want, but I do think the families need to sleep on it for a couple of days and maybe talk to some people. And, I would, you know what? I think that's too soon. They should have put that deal out. They should have gave them like a week before, because what, 2 days they're going to court. Now they don't have any chance to like think about it, or they should have made it for like next week. So they had time to, like, everybody has time to absorb it, think about it. And maybe in a week, they might go to court and not argue against it, you know, or, you know, maybe the state will think about it more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wish they would have waited a little bit. I really do. Like, I mean, to do the court, but I think they want to hurry up and do it because they don't want him to change his mind, because he could always change his mind. Okay, so I'm going to find other stuff. I'm going to play this video more, and I'm going to try to see if I can find other posts.
He also denied a delay in the trial. Joining us now with the very latest is Court City's Senior Director of Courtroom Coverage, Grace Wong. Grace, you were in that courtroom today. Nice to see you. What stood out?
Good morning, Matt. And as you know, Pennsylvania does not allow cameras in the courtroom. Today, there were 6 witnesses that had been subpoenaed by the defense who were ordered to appear to to testify about whether they would agree to being witnesses at Kohberger's trial. And if they don't agree, whether they could overcome the subpoena. And the judge was there to determine whether he would order them to appear at the trial. Now, 3 witnesses, Ralph Vecchio, Brandon Andriola, and there was one other witness who testified, that Jesse Harris, who was the former boxing coach. All 3 of them objected to being called to this trial. They felt like their testimony, as they had complied with information. They had given as much information as they could to both sides, and they didn't feel that appearing before the trial and testifying in person would add that much more than what they had already given. And they were also expressing concern, particularly Brandon Andriola and
Oh, I'm going to play. I didn't see this yet. Check this
Turned
out.
out of the Addo College murders case to trial.
Oh, cool. There's an interview with Hunter, and I don't know if it's from that one episode or if it's like a different one. Let's see. Hopefully it's not, because they copyrighted that one. Let's see.
Trial date is now set. This morning, close friends of the victims are telling their story for the first time on GMA. Kana Whitwer sat down with them. Good morning, Kana.
Yeah, George, good morning to you. Hunter Johnson and Emily Allant were two of the first people to arrive at the King Road house that November morning. These are the friends who prompted the 911 call. Their actions described by other families as heroic. But for them, it was a morning that changed everything. And they're speaking out for the first time about what they want people to remember about their friends. It's not just about how they died, but about how they lived.
You know, you see the world in pure innocence, and that all gets ripped away from you in one phone call. That's just the day that changed it all.
This morning, for the first time, the best friends of Ethan Chapin and Xana Kernodle speaking out about that November day when they discovered Ethan, Xana, Kaylee Gonzalez, and Madison Mogan brutally murdered in an off-campus home.
I don't think anyone expects anything like that ever in their life to happen.
Hunter Johnson and his girlfriend Emily Allant now telling their story in a new Prime Video docuseries, One Night in Idaho, The College Murders.
We were a big group of friends. Why would you target those four?
Emily says she and Xana were inseparable.
We were attached at the hip probably the first day that we met. Yeah, we just clicked immediately. We were same personalities, I feel like.
I love it when people talk about Ethan and Xana sort of being like male and female versions of each other.
Oh, it's very much true. They were the same person.
Hunter and Emily say the fall weekend started like any other with a big football game. The friends snapping this photo that Saturday.
It was a normal weekend for us, just hanging out with our friends.
The next morning, Emily says Dylan, one of the surviving roommates, called her concerned, asking her and Hunter to come over.
In the documentary, you tell the story of really not feeling alarmed when Dylan called you.
I joked around with her on the phone. You know, it's something you would never expect.
It's November, so I had shorts on, slides on. Like, I wasn't prepared to obviously stay there. I was just going over to check, see what's going on. I would say as soon as you get there, you know something's wrong.
Hunter was the first person to arrive to King Road to discover what happened. Their friend Josie Louderin, who was also there, describing the moments in the docuseries.
As soon as I stepped in the house, I was like, oh, something is so not right. Like, you could feel it almost. Hunter was ahead of me and Emily and immediately was pushed out. And Hunter was like, get out, somebody call 911.
You hear Hunter on the 911 call telling the girls there was an unconscious person protecting them from the graphic details.
Is she breathing?
No.
How did you remain so calm in that moment?
Truly, in my heart, I believe God was with me that day, and he gave me the strength to get through that day.
As authorities entered the home, the friends say they were told to sit outside, waiting for hours with little information.
We watched the ambulance come and we watched them immediately leave. So I think that was a hard part for sure.
That second you realize there's no one to be saved.
Right.
Their best friends inexplicably murdered. Not knowing who was responsible or why, they feared for their own safety.
We just left to get away, be safe.
Yeah.
Is our
You
mindset.
didn't feel safe?
No.
In the nearly 7 weeks it took police to arrest a suspect, Emily, Hunter, and surviving roommates Dylan and Bethany became the targets of online sleuths and social media attacks.
Lots of threats, people saying I should confess to murdering them. I felt like I was less than a person in that point in my life.
On December 30th, 2022, police arrested then 28-year-old Bryan Kohberger. To Emily and Hunter, he was a complete stranger. Their murder trial set to begin in August. His attorneys say he's innocent.
Does justice lie in a conviction?
I don't think there's going to ever be any justice.
I mean, yeah, we can have justice for the conviction of it, but I don't get to still hang out with Ethan. So
they still don't get to.
They don't have a son. They don't have a daughter anymore.
They say they hope people remember who their friends were beyond the headlines.
Who they are as people is so much more than the Idaho 4, and they shouldn't be known as the Idaho 4, and they shouldn't be attached to, you know, the name of who did that to them. And I just think that, you know, hopefully one day that they're just seen as who they are and not what happened to them.
Yeah, Emily went on to tell me they are so much more than their last day. Now, they joined Ethan's family to speak in this docuseries One Night in Idaho, The College Murders, which premieres July 11th on Prime Video. Also, keep in mind, guys, we're closely monitoring a Pennsylvania court today where several potential witnesses for the defense will We'll learn if they need to testify in Idaho when this trial is set to start in August.
No.
What's this one? So this one says, in the letters to families, lawyers approached him seeking to reach a plea deal. Prosecutor said they met with available family members last week before deciding. The resolution is our sincere attempt to seek justice for your family, the letter said. This agreement ensures that the defendant will be convicted, will spend the rest of his life in prison, will not be able to put you and the other families through the uncertainty of, where we were that, decades of post-conviction appeals. Your viewpoints weighed heavily on our decision-making process, and we hope that you may come to appreciate why we believe this resolution is in our best interest. In Idaho, judges may reject plea agreements, though such moves are rare. If a judge rejects a plea agreement, the defendant is allowed to withdraw the guilty plea. Huh. Interesting. Let me see if there's anything else. Anything, oh, Laura, did you email me that you were talking about? Email me with the Karen Reed, because I don't know what you're talking about. You never emailed me. I don't know where it's at, whatever you were talking about. If you're still watching. Sorry, I'm looking at, see if there's anything else interesting with this. That's true. I don't think they did. No, I don't know if they realized how much support he had, because he did. Because of, I think a lot of creators built this community of like, I think it has to do with this thing that like, I don't even know what you call it, but people feel like they're doing something like good, like they're sticking up for, some injustice or something. But like they're picking the wrong ones, I feel like. And so it says, all you sick Bryan Kohberger supporters can go shut up now. This is the best outcome. Him taking a plea deal and confessing. I don't think that the family realizes how much support this sicko had out there. No, now it's no question of his guilt. Like these, to all the internet crime and law experts who believe Bryan was innocent with a mountain of evidence against him, this is why you are on the internet and you're not attorneys. He took a plea deal because he's guilty as sin. Me and all the people that thought Bryan was innocent. Oh my God. It's over. Bryan Kohberger took a deal. He's pleading guilty. I'm taking a moment to remember Madison, Xana, Kaylee, Ethan, and 4 lives senselessly taken. This is the Gonzalez post. Yeah, I couldn't even believe he was guilty to his own life was on the line, it says. I'm trying to see if there's any other thing with the families. Yeah, a lot of, I mean, there are people that thinks he shouldn't. What is she saying?
I did not expect this. Bryan Kohberger has been offered a plea deal, and News Nation has learned that he's accepted a plea deal. This deal takes death off the table as long as he agrees to spend the rest of his natural life in prison with no possibility to get out on parole. That's also known as toe tag parole, colloquially. Means you're not getting out unless there's a tag on your toe. The other thing that he has to waive is the right to appeal. So, bye-bye. is basically what this plea deal is. Here's why I'm surprised. Not shocked, but I'm surprised. Because I felt that the government had him dead to rights. I really did. I felt like the government had so much evidence on this guy, and everything that everybody's debated has just been academic. It's been small. Yeah, you get the OJ verdict every so often, right? But when you've got a slam dunk, typically you got a slam dunk. And I know that the people of Idaho, many of them, wanted a death penalty for a crime of this magnitude. And so for Idaho to have yielded, there's another reason as to why they might. And that is cost. It is expensive. It is expensive to hold a trial like this. It is expensive to sentence someone to death, because it's not just this trial, it's all the appeals. It's the 20 to 30 years sometimes that it takes to actually execute someone. It's not instantaneous. There's only one Timothy McVeigh that I can think of in my 40-year career, and he just didn't want to sit in prison very long, so he waived most of his appeals. He was not allowed to waive one of his appeals. It was a mandatory appeal. He would have waived that one too. But so there you go. There you go. And here's the one thing I'm upset about. A couple things. I know that Kaylee Gonzalez's family really wanted a death penalty. I know that the other families, it wasn't as important to some of them. Didn't bring their kids back. But the details of what the hell happened, that's something that I would really like to know. And the government knows some details and kept them under a gag order for this last 2.5 years. And I expect that Bryan Kohberger will have to do an allocution in court in order to accept this plea bargain. He'll have to say a few things, right? He'll have to stand up in court and say some things. So it remains to be seen just how much we're going to learn. But I am so sorry. I am very sorry that that justice won't feel like justice for some people, certainly for families. They'll never feel whole. They'll never get closure. But I am sorry for many of you who really wanted to see justice play out.
I didn't realize that they had a GoFundMe for the Gonzalez family had $85,353 for GoFundMe to help the family attend the trial. Huh. Interesting. I didn't know that. Do they all have them? Huh. Wonder if all the families set up a GoFundMe. Where did they think that? Where's the proof of that? They felt Dylan was not only unbelievable, but she should be investigated. Can we see some proof? Well, I never heard that. See, I feel like that's just passing around false info. What? Where are people getting this? It's a lie. I just hate that. People would pass it around, and then somebody else is going to take that and pass it around as a fact. And then now people are going to go around, and that's why sometimes people come and chat and they'll say something. Kind of sounds like, wait, we never heard it. And a lot of times it's not their fault, because sometimes it's just they heard it somewhere, but it sidetracks because then you go try to look it up. Oh, no, I don't think that's true. Okay, let me see if there's anything else. I was trying to find.
case we receive a lot of comments from Delusional. I guess that's really all there is. I guess there's really not going to be any other. I mean, not yet. I'm sure the families aren't going to do interviews for a couple days at least. So it's just going to be everybody talking about their thoughts. So we have the Gonzalez posting that on Facebook, and then we have Chronodals, I guess, did they talk to TMZ or something talking about it? Huh. Let me see if there's anything else in these Facebook groups that could be interesting. Let's see. We're Beyond Furious. I don't think there is. So, does anybody else see anything interesting that we should share? Or email me if so. Let me see what this is. This is an article. It says, something's wrong. Friends heard on Moscow homicides 911 talk for first time. Oh, it's. Two students who discovered the bodies of the four friends after they were killed spoke out for the first time. And okay, we watched that. Yeah. Good Morning America. There. Okay. Yeah, we already watched it actually. Yeah, two so far. Hey, Mama Mia. What up? What up? Yeah, but that's the thing. They might still know. I mean, they'll get probably maybe more access to the files. It doesn't necessarily mean we're not going to get any of the files. We as the public, they might not offer as many for public access, but there's going to be stuff that I'm sure that we're going to be able to get. And I'm sure the family will be able to see it all if they wanted to. So I don't think that'll be an issue. I think they'll let them see the evidence and stuff. Because the public, I mean, we'll probably get to see some of it too. Unless if they want to seal it. But for them, they might, you know what I'm saying? They might let them see it. So, you know, yeah. So I think that, I don't think that that'll be an issue. Yeah, we have that thing coming out July. When is that documentary coming out? July 7th, 3rd, 11th? I forget, on Netflix, or I'm gonna have to watch that. Bryan reported what first? So you guys, oh, I want to share this though, and this is about the Diddy, but the Diddy stuff. What do you think is going to happen with that? I was watching this TMZ thing. Hold on.
And
The juror's asking a question, and it sounds like there's like one.
there is already strife, and we are going to talk about what this means. But short story, the jurors sent a note to the judge already saying that juror 25 cannot follow the judge's instructions. I think I know what that means.
It certainly sounds like most of the jury, 11 jurors, agree on what they want to do here.
At least on something. We don't know.
Something. It could be just for one of the counts.
It could be for one of the counts. It could be for
not
all of
for
the counts.
entire case.
It's weird that a couple hours in.
That they already send a note, because that means they're not even, there's no need
feels
for
like
them to discuss anything. Like, we know this is what we want.
Feels like this guy's a holdout.
Right, and this one person is the holdout.
And so now the question, what does this mean? The only thing I can think of is if there are 11 people on one side, and again, we're guessing this.
Who very quickly know what they want to do.
Because if there were 5, why would they single out this one if 4 others felt the same way?
Right.
So it seems like this one guy feels differently from everybody else, and the everybody else part that has tried to convince this one guy, you got to look at the jury instruction, the judge's instructions,
right.
And the juror is saying, I don't care about the judge's instructions. At least that's the way the other 11 see it.
And it's not that he doesn't understand. We don't think it's that he doesn't understand the actual instructions, because what we know of his background from the jury selection process, he's a very educated man who's got a PhD in molecular biology. So
51-year-old white guy.
I don't think there's any.
I've so like resisted guessing in this case, because
I think now hearing this, I think it's got to be like, it sounds like that it's that one person maybe thinking not guilty, trying to push for not guilty, and everybody else thinking guilty. Because I mean, that's what I think hearing this. But it makes you wonder, like, think about this. I mean, Diddy was he had a lot of money. Like, would he be able to somehow get a juror in there where basically saying not guilty and throwing off the whole thing? You know what I'm saying? To get like not so they can't get a unanimous decision. I mean, it's possible. Look what supposedly, remember the Karen Reed? Didn't they say that there was supposedly on the first one that they got like, well, there was people talking about that they think that there was one person that the state had in there that was, you know, trying to get her guilty. So I don't know. I mean, you never know. That's what I'm thinking. It could be because they say there's one person. So what if he's just paying him off, or somehow, you know, he's got that one person in there and it's going to make a hung jury because it has to be unanimous. And if he just keeps refusing, this is going to be interesting.
Because you'd never know.
But because it's this quick.
It just feels like to me that this guy is saying, because it's the only thing that makes sense. I don't care what the judge is saying. I am not going to find Diddy guilty on whatever the charge is, whether it's racketeering or whatever else it is, because, you know, for example, this feels like a bedroom police prosecution. It could be something that goes, this is called in the law, if this is the case, jury nullification, where a juror says, I don't care what the judge is telling me. The right thing to do is something else. That's what it's feeling like to me.
So if you're going to guess here, it's that the 11 are saying convict him on one of the
something.
Counts,
That's what it feels like to me.
So when the note was handed to the judge explained what was going on to the prosecutors and to Diddy's defense. They all came up and had a meeting about this. What Mark Agnifilo, Diddy's co-lead attorney, said was, just tell them it's really early, Judge, and you know they should get back to figuring it out. If you're the defense and they send that note out this quickly,
it's bad news.
It's bad news.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
it's bad news.
Look, if the jury, if 11 people are saying one guy is just off the reservation, that can't be for acquittal. It just can't.
I tend to agree with you. There's a small chance. I tend to agree with you that a bunch of people are saying the government just didn't prove their case, and this one man is saying, I don't care, Diddy's a dangerous person, and I don't want him on the streets. That's possible as well, that he's a holdout for the prosecution. I agree it's more likely your scenario, but I could also see them saying, look, he shouldn't be on the streets, and I don't care what the hell Rico says. I'm convicting him no matter what.
And by the way, again, like I want to underscore what Charles is saying, even if we're right, this could be as to one count.
Right.
Could be as
Just
to all
one,
counts.
because
We
there's
don't
4
know.
counts, and
It's just shocking to me. Look, I covered
5 counts. Sorry.
I covered the O.J. Simpson case, and it was a 9-month trial, and the jury took 2 hours. So, you know, this is actually a little more complicated because in O.J. it was just, did he do it or did he not?
Right.
You know, or was a reasonable doubt. Here, there's RICO and there's sex trafficking and there's all this other stuff. So it's more complicated. It is just weird to me that they're coming in this quickly and this apparently unified, with the exception of one guy. It's kind of stunning to me.
Allie from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. I think Diddy is going to be convicted on the RICO charge, particularly because he interfered his business and his personal gains for his personal gratification, for sexual gratification. Although this jury question is a bit concerning, I don't know. Are they hung on the reasonable doubt?
Well, the thing is, we don't know what this guy is doing.
Right. We don't know which way he's
I will
leaning.
say, just because the 11 people are saying he's not following instructions doesn't mean he's going to get kicked off. I mean, the judge is going to have a huge problem on appeal if he does that, because then it's going to look like the trial was rigged.
Right.
So the judge is going to be very slow to get rid of this guy. They may do some clarification, but I would be stunned if at this point, this early on,
the judge got to send them back and say, work
just
on this.
Keep working on it, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, we will see. We're moving on.
Yes, to the Bezos-Sanchez wedding, which is over. I think by the time it actually happened, everybody was like, all right, enough already.
Enough, even the guests.
Well, now what has happened is some people have, from the sidelines, decided they want to sound off. And Rosie O'Donnell is the latest with a pretty scorching attack on Jeff Bezos, on Lauren Sanchez, even Oprah. So this is what she posted that photo and it said, the Bezos wedding, it turned my stomach seeing all these billionaires gathering in the gross excess of it all, the show of it.
All right, let me see what this is all about. All right.
Gonsalves.
See what they have to say. You guys, I'm doing a live in about an hour or two on the Jeanette calls because I'm trying to get as much content in as possible because I'm going to be going to my brother's and I don't know if I'll be able to. I'm not going to have a good mic. I'm not going to, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to have to, I won't be able to do like, I could probably just do fun lives. I don't know. We'll see. But just in case I don't, I want to be able to, you know, get some content in before. So I'm going to at least get these this first calls out because just in case I'm not going to be able to do any more until next week. I might be able to though. I might be able to get some out while I'm at my brother's. I'm not sure yet how that's going to work, but I'm going to do the 2 Jeanette calls at 10 o'clock. I'm sure you guys probably saw the thumbnail. So can you guys please share that out and share this out, but share that out so I can try to get some views to help, you know, for the costs and stuff.
Madison Mogan, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin in their off-campus house in November of 2022. The prosecution proposed dropping the death penalty in exchange for Kohberger pleading guilty to the 4 murders and to the burglary charge. Kohberger must also agree to spend the rest of his life in prison without the possibility of parole, and he must waive his right to appeal. All pretty standard when you take a plea deal. Now, the family of one of the victims, Kaylee Gonsalves, posted an update to social media saying, "We are beyond furious at the state of Idaho. They have failed us. Please give us some time. This was very unexpected." A court hearing is scheduled on the matter for July 2nd. Let's bring back in our guest. Joining us to discuss, former federal prosecutor and president of West Coast Trial Lawyers, Nima Rahmani. Nima, first and foremost, I want to get your reaction to this incredible news.
Michael, I'm shocked. We're talking about one of the most gruesome murders in Idaho state history, a case that everyone's been following since it happened almost 3 years ago, in November 2022. And really, out of nowhere, we're scheduled for trial in mid-August. I mean, the judge, denied the defense motion to continue the case, denied the defense theory of the real killer, right? Said the defense can't present evidence of these other 4 individuals because there's no legal or factual basis to do so. So we've been getting ready for this trial here on Court TV and really the entire country and world for almost the past 3 years. Now, I'm not surprised the family is upset. Obviously, as victims, they have rights. They have a right to be heard. They have a right to be consulted. But ultimately, it is the prosecution's.
Oh, real quick before everybody starts leaving, because I see my numbers dropping. I can't believe I can't even get 100 people, guys. Share this out. We got to at least start getting 100 people in my lives. Help me out. You guys can help me out. It'll be very much appreciated. Because I know a lot of it is people aren't getting recommended. And unfortunately, people, and I'm this guilty of it, like they don't want to come to my channel and look what I did. It's just like they're just whatever comes up in their recommended feed. But I'm guilty of that too. That's kind of how I pick my videos. So the more that this gets shared out, it can boost up my algorithm again because it's gotten really low. So, and I know this because people will like message or comment like I'm not getting notifications, so they don't even know that I'm live. But I think what the problem is if they go into their notifications, they probably are getting notifications, but it's just recommended. I think that's what people misspeak about, like that it's just the recommended. And then for recommended, I need to get the algorithm up. So then like when you go to YouTube on your home, you can push home or whatever, I'll pop up on there. If not, a lot of people don't go to that notification tab and then look, you know what I'm saying? They'll just like go on that homepage. So help me out, guys. Oh, this is what I was going to say. So I realized, you guys know that Stephen McDaniel's case? I had ordered files like probably like 3 years ago and I got them. And I think I was in the middle of the Paul case, maybe Paul Shonder, maybe it was before that. I was in the middle of like different things and I was busy. And there was a ton of stuff and I opened it up and I just kind of like looked through it. And I thought like it only had like certain things. And then there were certain things that wouldn't even open. So I just thought, you know what, all this stuff's already out and it's not really that much stuff. Like I just didn't end up sharing it. And then some stuff, like I said, it was error. It wouldn't let me open it. Well, I'm learning as I have my channel. I learn all the time as I try to do things. I learned how to like open up things that won't open. Like I learned how to convert things. And like, if there's an error, I learned how to like be able to do it. You have to like download certain programs and that can convert them for you. And I'm learning because I had to learn because these calls actually helped me learn, and the Ezra stuff a little bit. And these calls, because my first batch of calls, I opened it was error. I'm like, oh my God, no, like, oh, so mad. And I freaking just figured it out. The Googled stuff, downloaded things and figured out how to convert it. So when I get it, you have to actually get a program to convert it so you could listen to it. So I was able to use that for my Stephen McDaniel stuff. So I actually have a lot of good stuff, guys. So I know it's an old case, but I'm going to go through it. So if you guys don't know who Stephen McDaniel is, he's the guy with he had the big hair, and he was on the news clip, and he was like, he killed Lauren Gideons. And he chopped her up, and I don't know. He put her in the trash, and the trash was running late that day. So he thought he was good to go. The trash was already taken by the trash guys, that he was home free. He was on the news, and they told him, they thought he knew, but see, he didn't know that they found a body because he was in there getting questioned by the cops, which I have that interview. So he gets questioned by the cops earlier, and then they take him to his house to look through his stuff, look through his house, his apartment. And then that whole day he does an interview with the media. Well, since he was with the cops all day in the interview, he didn't realize they found the body. She thought he knew. Well, she like brings it up and he's like, what do you mean? Yeah, yeah, they found a body back there by the trash, in the trash. And he like freaks out and just like, I'm like, I gotta go sit down. And then you see the interview when they take him back in and interview him that night, and he's like a total different person. Like he's like spaced out. So it's that guy. So yeah, I have like all these interviews with like his ex, like the person that roomed with him in college, somebody that met him on that 4chan that came and did like the mock trial with him. I haven't even been through all of it yet. And then there's this, it's kind of interesting. There's this person that swears that this other guy admitted to killing her and like was talking about how heavy her head was. So they interview that guy. It's crazy. I haven't even got through all this stuff. I'm like, oh my God, I've had this for like over 2 years. And now that I'm like, oh, I don't really have any files besides the Wade stuff, I'm trying to order new files. I've been sitting on this whole time, and I know it's an old case, but I don't know if you guys would be interested, but I was going through it all last night. So what I was going to do first is I was hoping to do a live just to introduce the case so people are aware, and then start like just releasing pre-records of interviews. But I would like to watch some of them with you guys because, oh my God, the way though that the investigators like questioning him, it really is bull crap. I mean, I get what they're doing. That's what they do. But in reality, it's like they're so full of it. Like from being in true crime, like you just see these interrogations and the tactics they use. They lie and they're just so full of it. And they flat out lie. It's just crazy. And then they're like calling them, like how they'll be like, help us. Well, you're the investigator now. You're the detective. You have to help us now. And it's like, if I was Stephen McDaniel, why wouldn't I be murdering anybody? But what I would say is that's your job. Like, no, I don't have to. It's just like, just some of the stuff they say, the investigators, very entertaining. It's like, wow, they are pulling out all the stops. And if he was like a different personality, like he could have came back at them so many times with different things, but he was just in so shock and scared. But obviously he's sick. He's gross. And then the documents are so interesting. Like his confession, he writes out like everything, what he did and everything. I mean, it's just some interesting stuff. And then like I finally figured out like the forum that he's on. I finally figured out who he is on that. So I was screenshotting like all the ones where he talks. There's tons of pages of like for years leading up to the murder, him talking on this group. I think it's I don't know, just some forum group that he's talking to people. Oh, it's pretty interesting. So hopefully, yeah, he's very creepy. Very creepy. What's going on? Yeah, I don't know if you'd say excited. He got like quiet when they freaking said about the body. He's like, like because he was like surprised. He thought the body was gone in the trash, but the trash was running late that day, so they ended up finding her. Yeah, he's got 3 guns, and he's like never shot any of them. They're like, well, why do you have guns? Like, what oh, for protection? They're like, kind of like, well, why do you never shot them? Like, you never went to the range? Like, shouldn't you know how to use your weapon? If you're going to get it, you should. I mean, I think you should know how to use it. If not, it's no good to you. If you never use it and don't know how to use it, it's really no good for you. Good to you. It's only going to harm you because the person that you're trying to protect yourself from probably does know how to use it. And you know what I'm saying? So he's got like automatic, like serious guns. It's like, why? He's got all these knives and stuff. I don't know. I want to start soon. I still have a few Ezra interviews too to release, but few left. But I don't know. I would like to start as soon as possible. I know this week I got to go over my brother's, but I have it. I just don't know. I'm trying to decide like what order to put it in. Well, they can though, Verica. They had there is some cases where like, but they still can. I'm trying to think how. There's an example. I can't think of who. Where they still do. I don't think it's like a law that they can't. I think they could quote other cases. You know how they bring in other cases or where he shouldn't, but I don't think it's a thing where if he does, that he can't be executed, because I think with autism, I don't think it falls under. I think it's like close. I think some judges or some states or whatever, they try to like label and it try to fit it in there, but it's not. I can't even think the right words. Yes, there's a chance, but it's not a for sure thing that means automatically he can't get it, if that makes sense. They're going to fight. They were trying to fight for that. Well, he has autism. It should be like anybody that has a I don't know what the proper word to use, but a lot of things don't accept it. A lot of like judges, they might not accept it as that. So I don't know. It sounded like that wouldn't be the case here. Like he would be able to still get it. But I know what you're talking about. I just can't think of how to word stuff right now. Oh, you think he's innocent? Because I don't think he's innocent. Exactly. Why would an innocent man take a deal because he's not innocent? Like, in my opinion, I think it's because he's not innocent. That's why no innocent man would. That's what I started off with. Like, there's no way that somebody would say they're guilty of 4 murders if they weren't. So I think we're looking at it different. I'm looking at it as like, because he is guilty. That's why he's doing it, because he knows he's guilty. And otherwise, there's no way an innocent person would plead guilty to 4 murders. You know what I'm saying? They'd want to take it to trial and think, you know what, I'm innocent. I'm taking a trial. He's got a good lawyer, but it's because I think he is guilty. So he knows he's guilty, and he knows that probably find him guilty. And so that's my opinion. But so you think he's innocent? Yeah, I agree. Anna, what do you mean? Why? What's your name? What was your name of Anna Corn? What's your? You know how it changed from profile to? Oh yeah, Hope. Gee, I know. No, yeah, that was a part of the deal. He can't appeal, no parole. So, why did somebody say he could appeal? Who said he could appeal? I didn't say that. Maybe you misunderstood me. I know. I was talking about how he can't appeal. Like, I think it's a really good deal. I mean, I think it's good for the state, I think, in my opinion. No appeal, no parole, life. Okay, Verica. See, I think it makes total sense. I'm surprised he did it because he's been fighting it so long, but I think it makes sense. I mean, he's guilty, in my opinion. I think he's guilty, and he didn't want to risk the death penalty because he probably realized I think it's a strong case. I know there's the other people disagree and say they don't think it is, but I actually think it was a strong case. But Verica, I think we will get to see some of the evidence because it will get the files. You know what I'm saying? So I do think some of it will be out. Now, we might not be able to see as much of it as we would if we did a trial, but I mean, we're going to be able to get some of it. So within time, it might take a while before they start unsealing things, but I do believe we'll be able to get at least some of it. I know not as much. Shoot, I just realized something though. We might not be able to get as much as we think because I try to order the Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell. Like I tried to order like interrogations and body cam. And Idaho denied me because like every state and county is different. So it could just be the county or it could be the state that's real strict. I don't know. So I don't know. Let's just keep our fingers crossed that we will be able to get some of it. I mean, some of it, but I'm hoping we'll be able to get body cam interviews with him, all the stuff, like all the, I don't know though, we might not. And I know people are, I mean, we're going to be disappointed. I mean, it is a disappointment on that, but that's like almost like, I feel like I'm being selfish because it's like, I want to know because I want to see the stuff, but like, who am I? Like, I think it's better that they got justice and he's going, you know what I'm saying? And he's pleading guilty. So if I can't see or we can't see the evidence, then, you know, but as far as the family, I do think they might let them see stuff that, I don't know, they might get a special allowance for the family if they want to be able to see certain evidence. They may allow it, you know, for them to see things. Because remember, when this all started out, Gonzalez, he had seen things that the public didn't see, that he wasn't allowed to talk about. So they may allow them. So they at least, they have some closure and they're able to see what they want to see. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you're Susan? Okay. Whoa, that sounds weird. Hello? Oh, no, Kim. Yeah, he can't. That's a part of the deal. No appeal. Anyway.
Decision, and there's nothing the families can do to stop this from happening. I have to give credit to Ann Taylor and the defense team. They filed many pretrial motions to set this case up for both trial and appeal. And regardless how you feel about the death penalty, this, if you do believe in it, is a death penalty case. I mean, there's really no reason why these 4 innocent young men and women had to have their lives taken. So credit to the defense. They did an outstanding job for their client. If you are a death penalty lawyer, your number one job is to keep your client alive. That's what they did here. My hearts go out to the victims and their families. I think they're not happy, obviously, with this result, but shocking to say the least. I have really no other words to describe this.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, specifically about the job done by the defense. One may look at this, Nima, and say, well, why did they go through all that if, you know, maybe they knew he was guilty, maybe they didn't, and they were putting forth these theories, and even though they knew maybe that he was involved. But again, all of those things were sort of forcing the system to prove what they were claiming, right, what they were accusing him of, but also getting the best result for their client. That's their job.
That absolutely is their job. And people ask me, well, you do criminal defense. I mean, I'm a prosecutor, but, why don't you do criminal defense? And, you don't like defending criminals. And you're right. I don't like defending criminals, but I respect people that do. That is their job. And our system only works when there's prosecutors and there's defense lawyers. And just taking a step back, so I want people to understand the legal strategy here. when you are handling a death penalty case, there is a statistically greater chance that that death sentence is overturned on appeal than you actually have of getting a not guilty verdict from a death penalty qualified panel of jurors. So let's understand that, right? When you're doing voir dire.
Yeah, see, the family needs to realize this. Most of the time a lot of the times they do get overturned to life in prison by appeal. So that, I mean, they need to just take this as a win, because, I mean, there's a good chance that he would get out of the death penalty anyway from all the appeals and stuff like this guy's saying. So I don't think they should be as mad as they are. Like, people need to inform them on stuff because they're probably not thinking clearly. Because like Verica, you were saying, his autism, that could actually, in the future of appeals, let's say he did and get convicted, and he was able to, the mitigation, that the autism didn't meet, whatever, they didn't use that as like, nope, you can't. Obviously, they were letting the death penalty, so this judge wasn't taking into effect like the autism and not whatever. But the jury would have went to the death penalty phase, and then they would have had to decide what they thought about the autism and stuff like that. It's up to the jury at this point, because there's not a law against autism being put to death. But they were going to use it to try to get the jury to feel like it meets the I forget how they word it with, hold on, death sentence. But anyway, so chances are with the appeal, bring up the autism part, like it may have gotten overturned. So it's like, I just wish the family would maybe sit down with like knowledgeable people that go through all this and let it sink in. And I feel like they should have put it off for like a week. And I know that still risks the chance of Bryan changing his mind, but let the family sit with it for a little bit, because I think if they sat with it for a week, I think they would realize that this is the best outcome. Because I do think there'd been a chance that he could have got it overturned because of his autism. Let me see something. It's the intellectual disabilities. So in the United States, the death penalty is unconstitutional for individuals with intellectual disabilities. Hold on. I remember looking into this just with, was it this case maybe? And it's not as black and white as you think, but that's why they were trying hard to prove he was autistic. But even if they proved it, he still could have gotten sentenced to death. But I'm saying on an appeal, you never know. They could have went against it. And all right, hold on a second. If they're convicted and become incompetent while on death row, they can't be executed. Let's see what the mental illness thing. But I just don't think that the autism always fits into that for some cases where they don't accept it as that, is what my point is. Because I have read some stuff on it. I can't put it into words right now for some reason. But autism is a thing that they're working on, but it's not always. I think they almost leave it up to the jury to decide what they think. Let me see, exempt. So the court used referring to individuals' mental retardation. At the time, 18 states exempted this group from capital punishment. Okay, so 18 states, but autism wouldn't fit under that. And then it says the court determined that legislative judgments reflects a much broader social and professional consensus that executing individuals with intellectual disability was an excessive punishment, not in accord with our standard. Um, yeah. I mean, obviously the state isn't, it's not a thing that's like, oh, that's a law, because I mean, we've seen the documents where she was trying to not only say he had it, but also trying to convince the court of why somebody that has it shouldn't be put to death. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a thing. It's a thing where if the judge, I think, could have ruled on it, which you know, looks like he was accepting that it was a death penalty appropriate, and then I think it's up to the jury. But like this guy says, with an appeal, it could have changed. But it's just not that black and white. It's very, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, it's something that I feel like they're working on through the systems and trying to feel out, like, you know what I'm saying? Should autism be exempt? Shouldn't it? But yeah. Yeah, because I think a lot of people argued that it's not an intellectual disability, because actually, you know, autism, really smart. It's a maybe social disability. I don't know, but so there's arguments with that anyway, if it even fits into that, you know. So I just hope the family ends up realizing. I don't know though what's going to happen. I thought for sure they were going to be so happy.
Right. We've gone through jury selection a lot here on Court TV, but if it's a death penalty case, the judge also asks the potential juror's view on capital punishment. And if someone says, you know, I can never impose the death penalty, or I couldn't follow the law, well, that juror is going to be excused. So in these death penalty cases, the jurors tend to skew more conservative. Obviously, in a case like this, there'd be a lot of pressure on the jurors to return a death sentence. So what the defense was trying to do is, and I know a lot of people have been watching thought he was actually innocent. I think once the Amazon search history came out, there was really overwhelming evidence in this case, on top of the DNA on the knife sheath at the scene, the white Hyundai Elantra video, the cell site evidence. What the defense tried to do is, by filing all these pretrial motions very aggressively, motion after motion, they were forcing the prosecution to oppose it, but the judge to make rulings that could potentially be overturned on appeal, because you just need one appellate judge or justice. And we know in death penalty cases, Michael, there's mandatory state and federal appeals. So they'd have multiple bites at it. By ultimately litigating the case as aggressively the way they did, they were able to save their client's life, which is a really testament to the defense team here.
And even if he was convicted, Nima, it could have taken 30, 40 years for them to ultimately impose that death penalty because of the appeals. It always seemed that that was the way they were going in this case. I want to quickly talk about the victims before I run out of time. One of the things that surprised me was that they were saying this is the first they've heard of it when it was sort of let out. Of course, there is a gag order, but you would expect that before prosecutors did a deal like this, they would have consulted with the family. Did that surprise you?
That's very surprising. And if that is true, that is shameful. You are a prosecutor. Your job is to pursue justice, and it's to follow the law. Every state in this country has a victim's bill of rights, or Marcy's law. And at the top of that list, as a victim, you have a right to be heard, you have a right to be informed, you have a right to be consulted. And you don't have a right to make a decision because you're not a party of the case. But if prosecutors really didn't tell the family members of these victims that they intend to offer a deal, and they're hearing for the first time on court TV or social media, that is shameful. Hopefully that's not true. And hopefully prosecutors did their job and they followed the law. Unfortunately, even if there wasn't that proper consultation, it doesn't change the outcome. We saw that recently in the Adnan Syed case, where that case was dismissed after many years. A lot of folks thought that he was innocent. Family members objected, and the result ultimately was the same.
Yeah, just incredible stuff. All right, wonderful stuff, Nima. Truly appreciate your insights there.
All right, guys. Well, I can't find anything else really interesting. I don't think there's going to be any family interviews until probably a few days, if that. Maybe just a post here and there, but we see that so far only 2 families posted, and they're both Cornotos and Gonzalez are not happy with it, but they just found out today. Now, I think what happened, it sounds like they should have told them first, though, but it sounds like they met asking them, hey, we're thinking about offering a plea deal. What do you guys feel about that? And they gave their opinions. And it sounds like they probably are like, okay, well, we're going to take into all your opinions. You're going to take your opinions into consideration, and we're going to decide. So they were aware that they were contemplating it because they met. So obviously they were aware that they were talking about possibly offering a plea. Now, what should have happened then after that, after they decided, okay, we are going to offer the plea, they should have reached out to them first and said, hey, we are. But it sounds like they did. They sent that letter to them. I just thought of that as I'm talking. They quoted a part of the letter. So they did tell them. We saw the letter. So, yeah, that's not true. They sent him a letter. And then it probably got out, and then the media reported on it, sometime after. But we saw the parts of the letter, so they were told. And they obviously were told that they were contemplating it before because they all met with them and they told them their things and their thoughts on it. And prosecutors talked probably and decided and sent them a letter and said, hey, we are going to offer the deal. This is why, because, and we read that like a paragraph of a part of that letter. And then, so yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, it seems pretty clear to me. Right? You guys saw the same thing, right? I'm trying to find that part of that letter now. It was in a couple of articles, but oh yeah, right here. Here's a part of it. It says the prosecutors were said in the letter to families that the state was approached last week by Kohberger's defense team asking to be presented with an offer. Prosecutors said when they met with available family members last week, weighed in the right path forward and made a formal offer. This resolution is our sincere attempt to seek justice for your family, prosecutors wrote in the letter. This agreement ensures that the defendant will be convicted, will spend the rest. Oh, sorry, I thought I had this up. Will spend the rest of his life in prison and will not be able to put you and the other family members through the uncertainty decades of post-conviction appeals. Your viewpoints weighed heavily in our decision-making process, and we hope that you may come to appreciate why we believe this resolution is in the best interest of justice. And this says that, but the Gonzalez family is upset, claiming the Latah County Prosecutor's Office mishandled and rushed the deal. They vaguely mentioned a possible plea on Friday without seeking our input and presented the plea on Sunday. The family said in a statement, Latah County should be ashamed of its prosecutor's office. 4 wonderful young people lost their lives, yet the victims' families were treated as opponents from the outset. We weren't even called about the plea. We received an email with a letter attached. That shows how Latah's office treats murder victims' families. Adding insult to injury, they're rushing the plea, giving families just 1 day to coordinate and appear at the courthouse. I do think they should have given them till next week. But I thought on other ones they made it seem like they all got together and told him they didn't want him to give the plea. So then it says they vaguely mentioned a possible plea on Friday. I don't know. Huh. Says after more than 2 years, this is how it concludes, with a secretive deal and a hurried effort to close the case without any input from victims' families on the plea details. Our family's frustrated right now, and that will subside, and we will come together as always and deal with the reality that we face moving forward. I mean, the sucky thing now, though, is now that the families are talking about how it was wrong what the prosecutors did. Now all the Kohbergers, it's going to give fuel to all the Kohberger supporters. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. This is going to be a mess. I think it's a win. I'm a little bit, I'm not going to say anything, but yeah, crazy. Oh, I know it doesn't. But I mean, if they would have went to trial and all the appeals drudged out for, 10, 20 years, I just think this is the best outcome for them to be able to get some closure and move forward, move forward with their lives and not have to go through all of this every time he tries to appeal. And then if he does end up getting it overturned, and then he never admits to it. You know what I'm saying? I just think they just need some time. But we'll see with time, maybe not. All right, guys, I am gonna end because I have that other live in 25 minutes. Help me share this out, guys. I'd be happy to at least start getting 100 people in chat. That would be great. I can't believe I can't even get 100 people in chat. I got over 100,000 subs and I can't even get 100 people in chat. Come on, guys. You got to help me out. If you help, share it for me. Share it out for me. Like it. Oh. He will, though, Silver Fox. He will. They're gonna come even stronger. Watch. I think some people might then end up, but I think a lot of them are just gonna come stronger. Yeah, I'm sure. That's what I'm saying. I just, a part of me wishes they would have waited till next week to do the plea. To have the court, because that is soon. That's in 2 days. That would have been nice, at least maybe the end of the week, at least, or the beginning of the next week, I know, Silver Fox, but a lot of them won't. They're not those type of people. Some will, though. Some, yeah. But I feel like he's still going to have a lot of supporters. Keycore, you're connected with a lot of the for my next live. Can you share out my next live for me? Help me out. Help me out. But Verica, why do you think he's innocent though? Because it could just be he's realized how much evidence. He's realizing he's screwed and he's getting scared because it's getting time, and he's realizing, shoot, I did it. I don't want the death penalty. Why can't it just be as simple as that though? Because I think, I don't know. I'm not one to always think that there has to be, I feel like sometimes it's just what it is. What do they call it? Where it's the easiest thing. It's what, oh my God, I can't think of what they call that. Oh, but instead of thinking it's always a conspiracy theory, which sometimes there is, but sometimes it is just simple, sometimes life is just what it is, but, oh no, this isn't the Wade video. It starts at 10. Share the Wade one too. Hey, Sophia. Is it really? Yeah, because it's showing I'm having good service, so there's a few. I could think of offhand 3. I mean, I don't know if they're huge channels, but I mean they get decent sized channels that have been saying for years have been building a group that are saying he's innocent, which is fine, but they won't change it. They'll keep fighting it stronger. Yeah, that's what I think. That's what I think. Oh, it gave the regular names back? Oh my God, yay! I thought it was a new thing they were doing. I'm so glad, but that's weird. So if that wasn't supposed to happen, why did that happen? That makes that weirder. No, I'm talking about not the case, but the glitch on the YouTube. I thought it was just something that they were changing. Wow. Huh. All right, guys, I'm going to end it and go to the bathroom, and then we'll start the Wade one. Bye. Come back for... Oh, I should put you guys into the Wade one, but it's not going to start for 20 minutes. Well, yeah, I'll just end it. Okay, bye, guys. Ah, good point. Like he was saying, I'm going to be found guilty anyway, but let me be the one to say, have control over it. I didn't even think about it like that. Huh. Yeah.